Hello people and welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm so excited to show you guys this new tactic. It's a 4-3-1-2, but it plays some superb football exactly the way we want it. It scores goals, it focuses on direct football and vertical football, based off Matthias Jaissle and RB Salzburg. Before we get stuck into things though, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like this video. You can leave a comment as well. Any tactical recommendations that you may have, you can leave it in the comment section. But also, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, so make sure you check this out before we get stuck in to this video. OneFootball have been amazing enough to sponsor this video, and what I need for you guys to do is check out the app. The link will be in the description. It's fairly easy to do. You can download it via the link or you can use the barcode on the screen. The app is a great footballing app. It's where you can check the latest statistics, the latest football news. You can also watch some live free games. Yes, you heard me right. You can watch free games live for free on the footballing app. It's my favorite place to keep up to date with the most recent football news. You can also find some fantastic analysis and match reports on the OneFootball app as well. If you're attempting to replicate tactics like I do on this channel, you can also use this app to grab the latest match stats and all of that good stuff. So make sure you check out the app. The link is in the description, but also you can use the barcode on the screen, and trust me, you will not regret downloading this app. Salzburg is led by 33-year-old Matthias Jaissle, the German coach who took over RB Salzburg, replacing Jesse Marsch, who made his move to RB Leipzig. Jaissle has been touted as the new Julian Nagelsmann and has started life extremely well with Red Bull Salzburg. Salzburg this season have lined up in a narrow 4-3-1-2 system, which proved so far to be successful, with Salzburg winning 12 of their 14 Austrian Bundesliga games, remaining unbeaten, scoring an impressive 34 goals, conceding just the 9, putting them 14 points ahead of second place. They also sit on top of their Champions League group, scoring 7 goals in 4 games, creating an XG of 8.2, which is the most in their Champions League group. Salzburg's attacking play is built around narrow football, playing very vertical and direct, taking advantage of their pacey strikers getting in behind. The fullbacks push up high to give Salzburg natural width, with the 2 wider central midfielders pulling out wide, creating a link up between the midfield and the fullbacks, creating an overload in the wider areas, which also allows the fullbacks to advance higher up the pitch. And this shape also allows Salzburg to then manipulate space. If the defending team line drops to stop the pacey strikers, that could leave the attacking midfielder in a dangerous space between the defence and the midfield. If the defending team's midfield drops, this can leave space out wide for the advancing fullbacks. When Salzburg are in their building phase, the ball side midfielder will look to drop where the fullback may typically be. This looks to force an opposing player to track the midfielder, opening space for another Salzburg player to drop in. The ball side striker will then look to drop into the space left by the midfielder, and as he does, the attacking midfielder will then take the striker's position. This is all about rotation and disrupting the opponent's defensive shape by the use of space manipulation in order to create scoring chances. Red Bull sides are heavily influenced by Ralf Rangnick, especially the pressing idea. Ralf Rangnick's ideas are influenced by data they discovered back in 2006, where they found the biggest chance of scoring is within 10 seconds of losing it yourself, and secondly, the biggest chance to win the ball back is within 8 seconds of losing it. Both help understand the importance of counter-pressing. Salzburg try and press the opposition high when they are trying to play out from the back, and the Austrian team also counter-press right after losing the ball, which is typical for a Red Bull side. Their aim when counter-pressing is to press the man on the ball in numbers, cutting off easy passing lane and forcing a mistake for Salzburg to recover the ball. As Total Football analysed, Salzburg are one of the best pressers in their Champions League, with Liverpool, Chelsea and Seville doing better. Challenge intensity measures the amount of duels, tackles and interceptions per minute of opponent's possession. Again, this highlights a team's tendency to press. RB Salzburg leads the Champions League when it comes to challenge intensity. To prevent the opposing team from playing out from the back, the 2 Salzburg strikers split, engaging both central defenders and the goalkeeper when the ball is at the goalkeeper's feet. Salzburg's attacking midfielder will tightly mark their number 6, dropping deep to receive the ball, and the wider midfielders engage the fullbacks. This is a great example of how Salzburg will look to press. The two strikers will attempt to force the opponents out wide, where Salzburg will look to press more intensely, with Suchik also engaging with the fullback out wide. Salzburg's press may seem straightforward, but it's very effective. When they lose the ball, they counter-press, attempting to win the ball back immediately, usually having two players surrounding the man on the ball in their bid to win the ball back. This proves to be even more effective when pressing high, as this means Salzburg can win the ball back in a dangerous area, setting them up for a counter-attack, which we will move on to next. After winning the ball back, another great strength of Salzburg is their counter-attacks and their quick transitions, which fits well with their pacey strikers. Salzburg will look to move the ball as quickly as possible, which means they will either look to progress with the ball at feet or look to play a direct pass, whichever is on for the player. This also requires the Salzburg players off the ball to make forward runs for support. When a team have just lost the ball, they are in their most vulnerable defensive position, as everyone is positioned with attacking in mind. And here is a great example of how Salzburg quickly transitioned, scoring a goal within 13 seconds of play. Salzburg have just recovered the ball after a loose Sturmgrass pass, as they are deep in their own half, and with the opposing team having a player near all available passing options, Seivold chooses to play the ball long. The long ball managed to find Okafor, who cushions it down for Suchik. Now Salzburg has transitioned the ball into an area of danger for the opposition, as Adeyemi, Okafor and Christensen are getting further forward. Suchik plays the ball forward into space highlighted, and this finds Okafor, who has spun around his man into the space. The young striker manages to gather the ball and play a wonderful back heel to Christensen, who has acres of space to carry the ball into, and eventually slots the ball past the keeper. From the moment Salzburg gathers the ball to the moment the ball hits the back of the net, it took a total of 13 seconds, showing brilliant use of direct passing and willing runners. But unfortunately, that wraps up this very brief analysis of Salzburg and how they have played so far this year. Absolutely wonderful. Now we're going to go into Football Manager, have a look at the tactic that we replicated. Again, this is personally my favourite tactic so far of FM22 that I have created. It is absolutely fun. Your strikers are scoring goals for fun. Your attacking midfielder as well, he plays very well. Well, the whole team does, but enough of me talking about it. Let's go into Football Manager and have a look. So here we are in Football Manager, and you can have a look at the Matthias Jaissle Salzburg 4-3-1-2. Now, at the moment, we are Bournemouth. I did test it with Salzburg, but Salzburg are a very, very good team in the Austrian Bundesliga. We absolutely smashed that league. We will check the results and data after, but we did also do a mini test with Bournemouth to see how well it works in the Championship, and you can have a look. It works very well. The very first game we did draw 2-2 against West Brom, but we've been on a winning streak ever since. Again, we slipped up against Reading away 1-1. Two decent teams, West Brom and Reading are, but apart from that, we've won every single Championship game since. Looking at the league table, you can see that we've played 18, we've won 16, drawn 2, scored 40, which is the second most, but we've only conceded 11 goals. Looking at the top goal scorer for us, Dominic Solanke, which is very positive. Ryan Christie has the highest average rating. Keep those two things in mind, the striker scoring goals and the high rating from the attacking midfielder. And looking at some of the data as well for Bournemouth, you can see that so far we've scored 2.22 goals per game with an expected goals of 2.32 per game, so it's fairly similar. It's basically the same. Shots per game, 19 shots per game with 43% shots on target ratio. We are completing 11.83 dribbles per game, but dribbling isn't the most important. It's all about that direct and vertical football. But let's get back into the tactic, have a look at the tactic, go through the instructions, and then lastly finish off this video looking at the Salzburg results and data. For the mentality, we are using attacking, which focuses on getting players further forward but also benefits the counter-attacking. The attacking width is set to narrow. The approach play, we are going to be passing it into the space. Finally, I have a tactic without play out from the defense. This is probably my first tactic without that instruction in, I don't know, maybe 3 years in Football Manager. I always use play out from the defense, but with this instruction on or without it, it really didn't matter because the focus is always on getting the ball further forward. Passing directness, slightly more direct, the tempo on much higher. In the final third, we are going to be more expressive. We are going to be using that creative freedom. In transition, when the possession has been lost, we are going to counter press, try and win the ball back immediately. That is very important. When the possession has been won though, we do not have a direct instruction, mainly because our wing backs are going to be getting further forward. Our carrileros are already in good positions. Our attacking midfielder is going to be looking to get further forward. So too our two strikers. All of that happens naturally without us using that counter instruction. So we didn't need to use the counter instruction, as that makes your central midfielder, who's supposed to be on defense, get further forward too, and that leaves a big gap between your midfield and your defense. When the goalkeeper's in possession, he will look to distribute the ball quickly and look for the fullbacks in a bid to stretch the pitch. The defensive shape, we are using a higher line of engagement, a higher defensive line. The defensive width is set to standard again. Naturally, we are positioned narrowly, so we don't need to force the opponents out wide. The opponents naturally will look to play out wide, as we do have bodies already positioned in the middle of the pitch. The trigger press is on much more often, and we are going to be preventing that short goalkeeper distribution. Now for the player roles. In goal, we do have a sweeper keeper on attack. In defense, we do have a ball playing defender who's going to be covering, sweeping up those loose balls and recovering the ball. We are going to be forcing the opposition long, so we do need someone that's going to be recovering the ball for us, and his defensive partner is a central defender on the defense duty. Both fullbacks are wing backs on support, crossing from the byline, dribbling more and tackling harder. Our two wider central midfielders are carrileros, who are going to be marking tighter, and the central midfielder, the single pivot, is going to be the deep line playmaker on defensive duty, basically setting the tempo for the team, but also a play that we can use to make those direct passes. In attacking midfield, we have an attacking midfielder on the attacking duty. He's going to be marking tighter. Lastly, up top, we have a pressing forward on support. This is a nice balance with the attacking midfielder on attack, pressing forward on support, who's going to drop deep, so that can bring a centre back with him, creating space for either the advanced forward to move into the channel or the attacking midfielder to make that surging forward run. And lastly, we do have that striker, the advanced forward on attack, the main goal scorer. This striker scores a lot of goals, so make sure your best striker is on the right. He's going to be scoring a lot of goals for you. That there wraps up the tactic. We can now move over to the results and data, but we are going to be looking at the results and data used with RB Salzburg. So now let's check out the data. Now here we are in our Salzburg save, and as you can see, Benjamin Sesko, he's just scored so many goals. So many goals. 38 goals. It may not seem like the most, but if we look in the league, we can see that he's played 21 games but scoring 27 goals with an average rating of 7.84. In all competitions, he scored more goals than he played, so he scored 38 goals in 35 starts, 37 appearances in all. And remember what I said in that Bournemouth save, make sure you keep an eye on those key players. So the striker scores all the goals like Dominic Solanke did at Bournemouth, and we have Zlatko Jankovic, who had the highest average rating player. Ryan Christie was the highest rated player for Bournemouth, and he played attacking midfield, so did Zlatko Jankovic. He also had 21 assists, which is a lot. Now when we look at his league stats, 19 appearances, 19 assists. Absolutely fantastic. Average rating 8.02, the highest average rated player I have seen on FM22 so far. But what we came to see is the result. So in the typical Bundesliga, of course we won that. We played 32, winning 27, drawing 3. Well, there's only showing one draw. That's because of the championship group. But the one draw that we did in the championship group, which is obviously the top 6 teams in the league, against Sturm Graz, we drew 1-1 and a home loss against Rapid Vienna. In the Champions League, we got knocked out by Young Boys in the Champions Path. My mistake, playing the B side, thinking, well, we're good enough to get through. Of course not, but my main focus was on those league results. In the Europa League, we did get knocked out in the second knockout round by West Ham United, and in the, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce any of this, but in the Domestic Cup, we did reach the final, being the eventual winners, winning in the final 5-2 against Hartberg, who I believe is in, well, they were in the relegation group. Now looking at the stats, we can see more dominance in the Bundesliga than we did with Bournemouth in the Championship. But the points per game, it would be a lot more if it wasn't for the Championship group. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but from the actual main league group, I believe when you break off in the Championship group, it halves your points. So basically, if you got 3 points in the main group, they've done half that to 1.5. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure. I just played the game and it just split the league into two and half my points were missing. For the most goals, we scored 94 goals. Put that in context, the team with the second most goals, 56 goals. Most shots for RB Salzburg with a few shots against RB Salzburg. Best pass completion, not in the top 8. Average possession, again, similar to Bournemouth, not in the top 8. Most tackles won, again, not in the top 8. But most dribbles made, I just had a hiccup there. But for the most dribbles made, we are in 7th with 264. Most clean sheets, we come in 2nd with 18. And for the fewest conceded, joint first with 19. Looking at the player stats, most goals, Benjamin Sesko with 27 goals. Junior Adamu with 15. And Karen Adeyemi with 12. Most assists, Jankovic with 19. We do have Mohamed Kamara on 8. Most shots, Benjamin Sesko. Oh, both basically our two strikers. Most player of the match awards, Zlatko Jankovic with 6. We have Benjamin Sesko with 5. And Christiansen with 4. Most key passes, Jankovic with 103. Nicholas Copaldo on 74. Best pass completion, nobody there. Most tackles won, we have Christiansen on 92. Most dribbles made, again, Christiansen on 64. He was a key player as well. He makes that top 8 list. Most clean sheets, Philip Cohn with 18. And for the fewest conceded, Philip Cohn again with 19 in 2nd place. But now we can look at that data hub. Again, my favorite place, the pass map. This is how your passing map can look in your saves. So as you can see, we have our two central defenders, our single pivot, our wing backs getting further forward with our wider central midfielders helping out in those wider areas. Our striker in this game also shifted out onto the left, helping and forming a nice triangle on the left, with the attacking midfielder having plenty of space to attack and the right side of striker mainly focusing on getting those goals. Looking at the attacking efficiency, we were aggressive and clinical with our shooting, by far the best in that league. Defending efficiency, again, it's very similar. We did have a very strong defense, being quiet and also being impenetrable. In possession, we did frequently win the ball, but we were loose in possession, trying to play those direct passes, getting further forward and basically passing it into space. That can obviously result into you losing the ball quite often. And defensively, we are making fewer blocks and fewer clearances, which is always a good thing, which means we aren't defending a lot in our games. Now, looking at the shot maps in our last 5 games, we do have an expected goals of 10.73. We scored 12, so we are overperforming. 97 attempts, 70 with our feet, 25 with our head. And you can see a lot of the shots are in and around that box, all in central areas. Very, very nice. You can also see with the goal output as well, we are high scoring, also with a very, very strong defense. But that there is the data hub all wrapped up. We can now look at the squad stats, look at the top goal scorers for Salzburg, the top assist as well. Benjamin Sesko, as we've already seen, he scored 38 goals. Junior Adamu, who scored 21. Karim Adeyemi scored 16, with Brendan Aronson scoring 11. Now for the creative plays, we have Zlatko Jankovic on 21 assists, Rasmus Christiansen on 15, Brendan Aronson on 12, Capaldo on 11, and Mohamed Kamara on 10. But unfortunately, that wraps up this video. Like I said, this 4-3-1-2 is personally my favorite tactic so far. It's just so much fun to play with, but also the idea, you can literally see the idea play out right in front of your eyes when playing the game. But my name is RDF. It's been a pleasure recording this video for you guys. Shout out to Total Football Analysis, where I always and mostly actually I mostly get my research from there. It's either me doing it completely, or I get help from Total Football, or I get help from the mastermind. That is how we work out these analysis as well. Of course, I got full permission working with Total Football and the mastermind as well. But I'll see you guys soon. Speak to you soon. If you are enjoying my content, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like the video, leave a comment. All of that helps the algorithm as well. Don't forget as well, all of my Patreon members get early access to my content, whether that's a video or a tactic just being released. You will get early access before it goes out into the public.